What happens after we die? I mean, really, it's the question, isn't it? It's one of the oldest and deepest mysteries we've ever faced. For thousands of years, we've been searching for a map, for some kind of guidebook to what comes next. Well, today, we're diving into one of the most detailed and, frankly, awe-inspiring maps ever written down, the soul's journey of ascent according to the ancient wisdom of the Zohar. So let's start that journey.
Right here, this one sentence from a really deep, hidden part of the Zohar sets the entire stage for us. It gives us the two key players in this cosmic drama. First, the supernal altar, a place of ultimate offering and coming back together. And second, a guide who is totally unique, the Archangel Michael, but in his role as a celestial high priest. You see, this isn't just about reaching a destination. This is about taking part in a sacred ritual.
So, really, what is the soul's final destination? We tend to think about it in pretty vague ways, heaven, the light, the great beyond. But the Zohar lays out something way more structured. It's like a spiritual landscape complete with checkpoints, guardians, and a very specific, breathtaking protocol. Think of this explainer as your guided tour through that very landscape. We're going to go from that universal question to a very specific, mystical map of the cosmos.
Our story begins at that moment of departure, leaving the physical world. And for the soul, you have to understand, this is not an ending, not at all. It's a transition. It's like shedding an outer layer, the body, to begin its travel back to its original source, into a much higher and more intense reality.
Now, to really get this journey, we first need to understand what the soul even is according to Kabbalah. And it's not just one single thing. It's a complex, three-part structure: Nefesh, Ruach, and Neshama. The Zohar gives us this brilliant analogy. Think of a candle flame. The Nefesh is like that dark light right at the bottom, clinging to the wick, the part that animates our physical body. Above that, you have the Ruach, the bright white part of the flame. That's our spirit, our emotions, our moral self. And then, at the very top, there's this unseen aura of heat. That's the Neshama, the pure divine spark that connects us directly to the infinite. It's this whole package that starts the journey.
But here's the thing, not all journeys look the same. Right from the get-go, there's a fork in the road. The Zohar is crystal clear about this. The path you take depends entirely on the life you lived. For the meritorious soul, the journey is guided, they're welcomed, they're seen as this beautiful, fragrant offering ready to ascend. But for the unmeritorious soul, it's a different story. It gets pushed away, it's left to wander, it faces resistance, and has to go through purification. This really sets the cosmic stakes for the ascent we're about to witness.
Okay, so the soul has left the body. Now what? It begins its travel upwards, but this isn't some empty black void. No, it's a structured path, an ancient road with gateways and spiritual checkpoints, and each one is designed to test and authenticate the soul's merit from its time on Earth.
The Midrash Hanyalam describes these first trials in vivid detail. The journey kicks off at the cave of Machpelah, which is the first gateway where the soul meets Adam himself. If the soul is worthy, Adam proclaims, "Peace be your arrival." Next up, the soul faces the gates of Eden, guarded by the cherubim and that famous flaming turning sword. Now this sword isn't just a weapon, it's a refiner's fire. The meritorious soul is given a pass, a kind of ticket called a pinkas, to enter. The unworthy soul, though, is consumed by that flame for purification.
For the soul that has passed these initial trials, the path upward literally becomes visible. Imagine this: a luminous pillar, a column made of cloud and light, extends from the earthly Garden of Eden all the way up to the gates of heaven. It becomes a radiant highway for the soul's ascent into the supernal worlds.
So, as the soul ascends higher, it's no longer alone. It's met by its primary guide, its advocate, and its priest. This is the Archangel Michael. But, and this is a big but, not the Michael we usually see, the warrior with a sword. The Zohar reveals a much deeper, more intimate role for him.
The Zohar gives Michael a very specific title, Kahana Rabbah, which means the great priest. And this is so important. His job in this process is a priestly one. Just think, like the high priest in the Jerusalem temple would offer sacrifices to build a bridge between humanity and God, Michael does the exact same thing in the heavenly sanctuary. But his offerings, they aren't of this world. His offering is the soul itself. Let's just break down his job description here. First, he's the guide. He personally escorts the soul through the higher celestial gates. He's also the advocate, standing before the divine presence and literally shouting with joy, proclaiming how worthy the soul is. He's the priest, the one who performs the final sacred ritual. And maybe the most beautiful part of all, he's an intercessor. the Zohar reveals something incredible. For the common person, someone who lived a good life but wasn't a deep mystical scholar, Michael himself provides the proper kavana, the right focus and intention, to make their soul's offering perfect and accepted. This is a role of just profound compassion.
Guided by Michael, the soul finally arrives at the climax of its journey, the very heart of the spiritual cosmos. It approaches the supernal sanctuary and the celestial altar, a place of ultimate unification, prepared in this radiant, living firelight.
The language the Zohar uses here is so critical. The soul isn't sacrificed in the way we might think of it. It's offered as a fragrant offering of spices. This isn't an act of termination. It's an act of elevation. The soul's unique essence, the sum total of its good life, is released as this beautiful aroma that gets lovingly integrated into the divine presence. It's bound up in what the Zohar calls the bundle of life.
And the ritual itself? It's breathtakingly specific. The Zohar describes this precise protocol. First, Michael turns and blesses the soul itself, honoring it for its amazing journey. It's only then, after he's honored the soul, that he turns and blesses God. I mean, that's an incredible mark of respect for what the soul has accomplished. And in response, God gives a gift, a tithe, to the soul, the letter He, which is a letter used in creation itself. This literally transforms the soul's identity, just like Abram became Abraham, and it seals it forever within that bundle of life.
So this whole cinematic story is beautiful, right? But the Zohar isn't just poetry. It's a book of cosmic engineering. So that begs the question, what's the spiritual technology? What's the underlying architecture that makes this whole journey even possible? Okay, let's peel back the curtain and look at the blueprint. The key to all this cosmic engineering is the Sephirot, the 10 divine emanations that basically structure all of reality. The soul's journey is actually a journey through them. It kicks off in Malkut, our physical world, which is symbolized by the black of physicality. The trials at the gates? Those happen in the realm of Jevera, or judgment, represented by the red of that purifying fire. Michael's welcome and guidance? That corresponds to Hesed, loving kindness, symbolized by pure white. And finally, the soul's integration at the altar happens in Tiferet, the center of harmony and beauty, often seen as green or gold. The soul is literally climbing the ladder of creation. And that brings us to the number 10. It's so crucial here. The 10 Sephirot aren't just a random list. They form a complete ladder, a full circuit of divine energy. The soul's journey isn't just aimless floating. It's a methodical climb right up this very structure. From our world of Malchut all the way up towards the infinite gateway of Keter, the crown.
Okay, let's translate this into a more modern language. Think of it as cosmic engineering. Your soul is a high-value data packet that contains all the information of your lifetime. Death is just its ejection from the local machine, your body. The gates are like a series of really sophisticated firewalls and authentication checkpoints, verifying the packet's integrity. Michael? He's the system administrator with root access, the only one authorized to escort this data packet through the secure layers. The altar is the core server. And the offering? That's the successful integration of your data into the core system, where it becomes part of the system itself, now with elevated privileges.
Or, hey, let's try a video game analogy. Your life is the main quest. Your soul is your completed avatar, with all your stats and achievements saved. The ascent after death? That's like post-game content, progression through epic-level zones that only unlock after you've finished the main story. The gatekeepers, like Adam and the cherubim, are high-level NPCs or bosses that test what you've achieved. Michael is the ultimate quest giver in that final sanctified hub world. And the offering at the altar? That's the moment your character's achievements are permanently recorded in the game's Hall of Heroes, unlocking a whole new, higher mode of existence. Now, it would be so easy to hear all of this and just think, wow, what a fascinating story about the afterlife. But the Zohar's deepest secret is that this is not just a map for the dead. It is a blueprint, a guide for how to live a more meaningful and integrated life right here, right now. The ultimate takeaway is really this. The journey we take after we die is built piece by piece while we are alive. Our actions, our thoughts, our emotional refinement, all our spiritual development, it's all directly constructing the vehicle for our ascent in the next world. We are preparing for this journey with every single choice we make.
So how do we prepare? Well, we do it by consciously nourishing all three parts of our soul. We ground our Nefesh through tangible, sacred actions and ethical living in the real world. We refine our Ruach
by working on our emotional and moral landscape through things like prayer, study, and self-improvement. And we activate our Neshama through deep contemplation, by trying to understand the divine unity that underlies everything. By cultivating all three, we create a balanced, whole soul that is ready for a smooth and exalted ascent.
And that really brings us to the final thought for this whole explainer. This isn't just some academic exercise, it's deeply personal. Looking at the map we've just gone through, the trials, the gateways, the path of ascent, you have to ask yourself, if your journey began tonight, which gate would you be most prepared to face? And where might you still need to do the work?
Thank you for joining us for this complete journey through the Pardes. We hope these ancient truths help you and your family improve your own dimensions this week. If you enjoyed this full chapter deep dive, please like, subscribe, and share which part of the journey touched your soul in the comments. We'll see you in the next chapter.